Okay, well, Councillor Cornelius might feel like he's the odd one out, but really I'm the odd one out. I feel it. I must say I'm very humbled to be here tonight. I mean, absolutely, this is really impressive. I mean, I go to councils all over the country and I don't see this. And I think that's a testament to the people of Barnet, to the organisers of this and the campaign, but also respect to the politicians for coming along here tonight, and particularly to Councillor Cornelius. You know, I don't think he's got a lot of support here. I think coming along here is, you know, is an impressive thing to do. I am not a politician, and I am going to resist the temptation to make political statements tonight as far as I can. My involvement in this is essentially I've been working for Unison. I am a consultant. Most of the time I work for local authorities. But quite a lot of my time I also work for Unison up and down the country in lots of different councils. Unison asked me to look at contracting practice in Barnet because they were worried about some things that had gone wrong, and we've already had some references to some of those contracts, and I don't intend to talk about those too much. I've been told by the council it's all water under the bridge now anyway, or ancient history I think is the expression used. I mean, whether people really feel that way about it, well, we'll see. What I would say is that having looked at a whole range of failed procurements and poor contract management practices, I would have to say I think Barnet is probably the worst contracting authority that I've come across. I don't want that to sound political. It's not intended to be political, because I also think we have to recognise the things that Barnet Council has been doing well. And one of the things it's been doing well over the last few years is it's been managing its money pretty well, as it happens, with the exception of its money that's been caught up in contracts. So my conclusion is that actually the council's demonstrated that it's quite good at managing its money, that it's quite good at managing its in-house services, but it is very poor at managing its external contractors. So why take this leap of faith into a world where everything is to be contracted, where contract management is going to be what the council is all about? It doesn't seem well prepared to do that, to me. It doesn't seem like the right authority to be making those decisions. Now, I don't want to argue with Councillor Cornelius too much, but he did try to suggest that that somehow the approach is pragmatic. Well, it isn't pragmatic, and the reason it's not pragmatic is that the council has refused, point blank, to find out how good the in-house services could be. It's used to prepare what we call a public sector comparator, which is essentially working out how good the in-house services could be, so that if you make a decision to award a contract to somebody else, you know that you're making the right choice, that actually it wouldn't be better to keep it in-house. Now, having not prepared the public sector comparator, it is just not possible to say with any degree of certainty that the contracts that are going to be awarded are indeed best value and the best that the council should be doing. So I think that's a difficulty to start with. The other thing is that this whole outsourcing programme is basically based on three premises as far as I can see. The first of those is that the financial position in Barnet is dire. Is really, and we've heard this I know some of you don't like it, the council calls it a graph of doom, but essentially what they're saying is that we are going to run out of money unless we do something about it, and the only thing we can do about it is to outsource our services to the private sector. So there's three things there. One is that the situation is as bad as it is presented. Well, that isn't the case. The council has already done what it needs to do to meet the needs of its medium-term financial plan. By the time it gets into its next medium-term financial plan, we'll be in the next comprehensive spending review, and we may well be facing further cuts in excess of 25%. We may be looking at a 30% cut in government grants. If the council has ring-fenced its expenditure in 10-year contracts on levels of savings, as we've heard quoted tonight, which do not meet that need, They will not be enough to meet that 30% cut if it comes from central government. My question is, what will Barnet do then? It will have nowhere to go. It will have no more cuts to make because all its money will be ring-fenced into these contracts. It will have no choice but to pay its contractors. That's if the contractors do indeed deliver the savings that they're apparently promising. And I don't know how we know that because, as far as I can see, they've not published their business cases. Nobody has seen their final submissions, so we don't actually know what the submissions are. But assuming that they are making those promises, let me just tell you one thing about the South West one and the Somerset case. South West one, that's already been mentioned, was expected to deliver £100 million worth of savings by this point to Somerset County Council. It has delivered £30 million worth of savings. It is huge, there's a huge shortage there, and the council's now been penalised for reducing the volume that's in the contract by a further £2.5 million. That's what happens. That's reality.
Okay.